just met you then, thought you were nothing. You were just sitting on the couch without a jacket. We didn't say a word, who would have thought that this would end? The more we got to spend, my feelings growing. I didn't think I'd be attracted to your type, boy. The summer when we kissed, beginning of our secret love. Baby, you got me going all around you. I can't resist myself, cause I just need you here. The way you pull me in, your summer cologne's got me free. Summer cologne's got me falling to my knees. I don't need much, baby. I just need you right here next to me, yeah. You wrap your arms around me, my heart begins to stutter, my words are beating. The night that you had left me, I was so obsessed with thinking. When you confess your feelings, you ask me how I feel. I said I feel lonely without you by my side. Don't need a reason why. Baby, you got me going all around you. I can't resist myself, cause I just need you. Cause I just need you. The way you pull me, the way you pull me. Your summer cologne's got me free. Summer cologne's got me falling to my knees. I don't need much, baby. I just need you right here next to me. Summer cologne's got me free. Summer cologne's got me falling to my knees. I don't need much, baby. I just need you right here next to me, yeah.
Ce grincement comme ça qui devient presque...
A drop from the ocean, the light of a single star. Just one moment sets you apart. A gift from heaven, the love from someone's heart. Look into my eyes, you're my guitar. Wait and see, take me seriously. Talk to me, read me like a magazine. I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. Just trying to get right through this, just trying to find the exit. I hope when I get through it, be by your side next to you. I wanna face this ruin, went way too fast for coming. This feeling inside of me, it's growing. This I'm not going anywhere at all. I feel it in the air right now. I see what you're talking about. I don't know where I'm going, I don't know what I'm doing. Just trying to get right through this, just trying to find the exit. I hope if I get through this, I'll be by your side next to you. I wanna fix this ruin, went way too fast.
Worst ways, oh baby. It's a shame that we don't operate well, baby. Cause you're bad for my health, I swear you go to hell. Take the L, I don't wanna see you swell no more. And you might be the death of me now, baby, but we don't want no homicide now, do we? And shooting my soul so loud, are you happy now? Cause I really hate you, cause you made me so blue. And I promise to God I'll cut you off. But I really need you, and I really don't want to, yeah. But we'll keep playing games till you fuck off. No, there's no more saving face. You gon' pay with pain. I just taste the fame and all my